Hey guys, welcome back to this channel. If you're new here, I'm Raghu and I talk about all the ups and downs an immigrant goes through. Today, we're going to talk about how I cleared up my education loan. Well, the short answer is balance transfer because apparently that's what people are into, short answers, reels. But no, I think we're going to dive deeper into it. So let's get to it. Education loan is something that revolves around our heads as soon as we start planning for our US trip. And I think every student has this daunting question in their mind. When are they going to clear their education loans? Well, I'm not going to deny we were not rich and managing expenses for US has been a very difficult situation for us. So I'm going to divide this video into 3 sections. First one, let's talk about how much education loan I took. Like most of you guys, my education loan was from HDFC Credila for 25 lakhs, which converted into US dollars is about $34,000. The interest rate on that was around 12.5%. This brings me to the next section where we should understand why it's important to pay off loans earlier. So there's a concept called compound interest, and I think most of you guys already know, but please bear with me for just 2 seconds. I'll explain it quickly. Compound interest is something that is calculated on principal amount plus the interest which is added on that. Let's just take an example of $100 as your principal amount, right? The interest on it is 3%, so take about $3, right? So the interest charged next time, which is 3%, will be on $103 and not $100. Now you can multiply that basically in terms of $40,000 or $50,000. I'll link an article in the description below which talks about how the principal amount changes with the compounding interest adding on it. And I think it's very important to understand that factor. Just to put a number on the compounding effect that I'm talking about, the original plan that I had for the education loan was to pay off 25 lakhs in the span of 7 years, which compounds to around 48 lakhs. I think that is almost double, right? But I was able to pay it off within 1 year of getting my job, and I paid about 33 lakhs, which is 8 lakhs above the education loan that I had taken. So basically an EMI consists of certain principal amount and certain interest amount, right? But when we pay off in the initial stages, our interest amounts are higher because our principal amount is higher. If you think about it, when you start paying off for $40,000 or $25,000, you are paying interest for that amount, right? So it's very important that you guys pay off that principal amount as early as possible so that your interest rates are lower. I'll link a graph in the description below which talks about after a certain period of time, your interest in your EMI is lower than your principal amount, and until that amount we need to pay it off, and that is about maybe 60 to 65% of your principal amount. So always try to pay off about 60% immediately so that your EMIs will have less interest amount and more principal amount. Okay, enough about the numbers. Let's get into the section of how we do it. Balance transfer is nothing but you take a loan from credit card at 0% interest for about 12 to 6 months and you pay it off within that period. But before we go into that, there are 2 huge caveats that you guys need to understand. First one is this requires you to have a consistent salary for about 1.5 to 2 years. This is important because when we are taking loan from credit card companies, it's basically 0% interest, but at the same time it requires you to pay a certain amount within that period of, let's say, 12 months or 14 months or 16 months. If you guys don't have a consistent salary, it's very difficult to pay it off, and you guys might have double loans back in India and here as well. The second one is you guys need to have a good credit score in order to get a good amount of money from the credit card company, right? The balance transfer I got was around $24,000. This was because my credit score was 750, 760-ish, something like that. So the first step towards getting a balance transfer of how much ever amount you want is basically finding a credit card company which does that. Company I preferred was from Discover. I already had a Discover credit card back in my college time. So what I did was I basically called them up and I said, hey, do you guys have any balance transfer plans? There's a small percentage they charge for giving you this amount, which is 3%. So if you think about it, $10,000, 3% is $300, which I think is pretty small when you're trying to pay off the huge compound interest effect back in India. As soon as I got this $25,000 amount, I transferred the money through Western Union money transfer. I'll create a separate video talking about the different apps that I used, like Remitly, Western Union money transfer, but I'll explain all the different caveats in this, what is the most efficient way and stuff like that. So that's it, guys. I think my final thoughts are just try to pay off your loans as early as possible so that you can invest somewhere. We have stock market investments, we have real estate, but we need to be debt free in order to do these investments. If you think that this video gave you some value, please make sure that you like it, share it with other people and subscribe to my channel. See you guys in the next one.